Like him or not, Adam Warlock is single-handedly breaking the Marvel Rivals meta at the moment, and we're going to explain exactly how. So there's actually 4 parts to this, and the first part is Adam Warlock's ultimate, where he revives teammates within a 30-meter radius of his person. So as you can see the radius on the ground right now, and the teammates will respawn up here. So you can respawn all of his teammates back to life. Now the other part to this is his passive ability, which if he dies, he's able to, in a couple of seconds, revive himself as well. So as you can see, he can cocoon himself and come back from the dead at full HP. And that's not to mention the team-up ability with Mantis and Starlord, the Guardian Revival, where he gives them both the ability to revive themselves as well. So as you can see here, both Mantis and Starlord are about to die, and then they also are able to cocoon themselves and come back from the dead as well. And this is on 120-second cooldown. So if you haven't guessed by now, this is pretty broken, by the way. And it's the reason why a lot of the high level players are picking Adam Warlock specifically to be in their team comp. Now, there's a lot of different reasons to this, but also I do want to mention in the background, you're going to see a one above all Adam Warlock player, and we're going to show you this in action. But whilst we do that, we're also going to explain how you want to use this and the reason why it's so effective. And then we're also going to give you another tip to show you how it can be even more broken than it pretty much already is. Now, first of all, why it's so good is that essentially you're getting 8 revives in total for your team. And this basically negates staggering completely. And staggering is super important in this game for essentially winning team fights. And when you're running all the way back from spawn, when you only have a couple of teammates on the point, you know how hard it is to get back into the fight. And Adam Warlock completely destroys that by having his revive ultimate in a safe location when he does use it at the correct timing, and then he can bring back his full team. Like I said, that is essentially 5 other players he can bring back with his ultimate. And then not only that, he's got the revive for himself as well. So when he dies, he's got that revive on 120-second cooldown. Then he's also got the revive for Starlord and Mantis as well. So essentially, like I said, that is 8 revives in total. And if you use them correctly, then you can basically win pretty much any team fight, regardless of whoever else you've got on your team. That's not to mention Adam Warlock himself is extremely strong right now as a ranged DPS hero. So whoever's playing your ranged DPS in this game at the moment, if they get good with Adam Warlock, they can pretty much achieve the same task. He might not be exactly as powerful as them, but he's definitely very solid at replacing a Hela or a Namor or someone like that, for example. He's good at taking out flying targets, and like I said, he outputs a solid amount of damage, especially after his recent update. He's now basically a DPS character anyway, so you can definitely use him. The only drawback he kind of has is his movement, but if you position well and use him like a ranged DPS like you should, then you do pretty well with him anyway. Then having Mantis on your team is pretty solid as well. It's another support hero, so obviously going to get additional heals. And Mantis also offers basically burst healing, so it's not like healing over time like someone like Cloak and Dagger, for example. It's all kind of impact healing all in the one go. And also she offers damage buffs to Starlord or yourself, again, because Adam Warlock outputs so much damage. If you get a damage buff, that damage improvement is insane. So then she's also got anti-dive capabilities with the sleep as well. So you've got a lot there to use with Mantis, and a lot of people like to use Mantis in general because, again, she kind of feels more like a DPS healer. Then we have Starlord, who pretty much needs no introduction, to be honest, because he has a lot of survivability with his movement. He's got one of the best movement kits in the entire game, to be honest. He's also got iframes with his Stellar Shift, and he just stays alive a lot longer than he probably should, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. But also, he's probably one of the best DPS heroes in the entire game, and he can also kind of act like a dive hero as well. So there's a lot to Starlord too that you can use him extremely well. But like I said, a lot of people are picking Starlord anyway as a DPS because he's one of the best in the entire game right now. So you don't need to convince anyone on your team to go Starlord. So this wouldn't be one of my videos if I didn't teach you how to break this mechanic even further. So everyone likes a triple support meta, and everyone likes Rocket right now. So of course you could pair this with Rocket and his BRB drone. So as you can see here, you can use his BRB in conjunction with Adam Warlock's ultimate and revives to then basically revive your team through here as well. So as you can see, your teammates will get revived through the BRB, but this is only one teammate you can bring back, and this is on a 50-second cooldown almost. So like I said, you could pair that up with all those revives that you have already and get 9 total revives. Now let's break this even further, and we're going to go low-key this time, and what you want to do is shapeshift into your Adam Warlock, and then what you want to use is his ultimate again, and that basically gives you Adam Warlock's ultimate for a second time, bringing back your team all over again, and obviously you can do the healing and all that good stuff as well. Now how do you actually want to use this? Now I've been showing you some pro gameplay in the background, and this is going to give you a good idea of how you actually want to use it for each of these different heroes that we have. Now you don't need to use the cocoon as soon as you die, by the way, so if you die off spawn, don't use the ability straight away, because obviously you're going to spawn very close to where you want to be anyway. So save it for a little bit longer, and then you can pop it with any one of the different heroes. Now you probably won't have the Adam Warlock ultimate off spawn anyway, so you don't need to worry about that part of it. But like I said, when you're in a good portion of the fight and you know you're getting a good push on, and the enemy team just so happens to wipe you at that point, that is when you want to get to a safe spot and cocoon and then use it. Now sometimes a safe spot could be right in front of the enemy's face, because they could be distracted by your other teammates. For example, if they are high level players, then obviously they don't want to be sitting around waiting for you to revive yourself. Also, not a lot of people are actually using this right now, so they're not expecting you to come back from the dead if you're a Starlord or a Mantis, for example. So just keep that in mind. The main thing they'll be looking out for is Adam Warlock's actual ultimate ability. So when you're using the team up, people are not really expecting you to come back from the dead, and even when you are floating around for that couple of seconds try to find a good spot, you're basically invincible anyway, so you can't really die at that position. So at this point, if you've used your 3 revives for Mantis, Starlord and Adam Warlock, then you can go ahead and use Adam Warlock's ultimate at this point, which then gives you more revives. Now this will bring back either your full team if they did get wiped, or even a portion of your team, but regardless of this, it's keeping the pressure on, because your teammates are not going to be far away from the fight whatsoever, and they're going to be constantly engaged in the fight. The only important thing you need to make sure is that they are healed up, and obviously that is why it's useful to have Mantis inside this team up as well. So like I said, it's pretty straightforward because you just need to run that team up. Now, I don't know how people haven't caught on to this broken mechanic already, because the amount of potential revives you can get here is absolutely insane. And like I said, that Loki team up, especially if you do know how to use Loki, makes this super ridiculous. The reason why is because the revive potential on that team is just insane. If you have a Loki, a Adam Warlock, a Starlord, a Mantis, that is basically broken as hell, because not only can he use the Adam Warlock's ultimate in a defensive way to get those many revives for the team, which like I said, this is what this video is all about, but you can also copy the Starlord ultimate, which is one of the most broken ultimates in terms of damage in the entire game as well. So he's got that kind of flexibility there to play the way he wants. And then all you need to do is add 2 tanks into this game, and that is you pretty much sorted in terms of your team comp. Any 2 tanks you want, and that is golden. And like I said, I think this works extremely well, especially since Adam Warlock acts as a DPS anyway, pretty much. But like I said, even if you want to pair this with Rocket, it just makes the composition a little bit easier to use, and just adding that extra revive definitely helps out a ton. And Rocket's one of the easier heroes to use, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot more teams running this, because like I said, this is absolutely insane. So definitely try it out before it gets patched by Season 2. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.